Welcome to your Daily Writing Habit, episode number 283. If you're writing a book or thinking about it or trying to finish a book that you've started at some point, or you're trying to reach more people to let them know about your book, you are in the right place. Good morning. Happy Sunday. I'm your host, Christine Whitmarsh, also known as Christine Inc., I-N-K, christine-inc.com. Each day, I'm sharing with you the writing habits I've learned over my 18 years as a ghostwriter, book coach, and author. I have found that 3 things in particular have a huge impact on your success as an author, and they can turn someone who doesn't even see themselves as a person who can write a book into a published author. Those 3 things are writing fundamentals, productivity, and mindset habits. So once again, good morning, happy Sunday, and as we do every Sunday here on your Daily Writing Habit, it is Sunday Story Time, where I grab a book off my bookshelf, whether it's one by my clients or myself, or a book that has impacted me in some way and I believe has a lesson in it for us as authors, and I read a brief excerpt. And then at the end of that excerpt, I give some kind of activity or learning question or just something to think about as an author, sometimes unexpected, that is connected to the book that I just read from. So today's book that I pulled off my shelf, it's a big one. It's like, I think it could be considered a weapon. It's very big. Of course, it's a New York Times bestseller. It's Tools of Titans by Tim Ferriss. And Tim is the author of The 4-Hour Work Week. So you might have heard of him that way. So like I said, Tools of Titans, it's quite a large book. It's over 700 pages, and I'll explain later in the learning part for you why that's actually not a big deal and it shouldn't be intimidating. But for now, let's read an excerpt. The way this book is, it's kind of like an anthology of the best of from his podcasts. He has a very popular podcast and has had just some of the most famous, successful people, the Titans in the world, on his show. So what he did with this book is he compiled the best of from his podcast. So the chapter that I have here is Robert Rodriguez, a very famous indie filmmaker. And the section is called More on Creativity. When people say you do so many things, you're a musician, you're a painter, you're a composer, you're a cinematographer, you're the editor, you do so many different things, I go, no, I only do one thing. I live a creative life. When you put creativity in everything, everything becomes available to you. If I'm going to get into this character's head, maybe I'll paint him first and see what he looks like visually, or musically figure out what he sounds like. You can work completely non-linear that way. How you journal things, how you cross-reference, how you present things, how you inspire your crew, how you inspire other people around you, how you inspire yourself. It's all creative. And if you say you're not creative, look at how much you're missing out on just because you've told yourself that. I think creativity is one of the greatest gifts that we're born with that some people don't cultivate, that they don't realize it could be applied literally to everything in their lives. I just 1,000% agree with that. Once again, that's from Robert Rodriguez, one of the guests on Tim Ferriss's podcast, from his book, Tools of Titans. So like I said, this is an over 700-page book, which may sound daunting even to the most committed and voracious of readers. In other words, writers. We are, I think, the most committed and voracious of readers. But what's great about it is that Tim divided this veritable vault of information that he gathered from all his podcast interviews into super short, highly impactful, and extremely, extremely actionable and also quotable chunks of information. And I will tell you, I flew through this book in a lot shorter period of time than I anticipated because of the way he structured his book. And if you've heard me talk about this before, structure is huge in creating just a perfectly digestible, perfectly compelling, wonderfully, beautifully entertaining book for your reader. So he put a lot of work into the structure. I can definitely see that. So how can you take these 2 qualities that I spotted in his book, impact and actionable, and apply them to your book's content to make it more digestible, particularly for those of you who are writing kind of heavy books, not like heavy like Tim's book here that I could use to hit someone with, but heavy in terms of the intellectual weight of the content. So by impact, I mean, getting to the heart of it with things like story, analogies, connections to the real world, current events, action, history, anything that can connect the point you're trying to make to something that will make it clear and understandable and that word again, digestible to your reader. Also, action steps. Action steps the reader can take to put your information, to put your knowledge into motion right away without needing any further learning. So think of those things: impact and action. How can you make your nonfiction book impactful and actionable? Thank you for joining me here on Your Daily Writing Habit, where I'm helping you write and finish writing an awesome book. And be sure and drop by my Ink Authors Group, Ink Authors Group on Facebook to say hello. I'd love to know that you're listening. That would be great. And also let us know what you need to help you finish your book. We're there for you. Ink Authors on Facebook. Until tomorrow, happy writing.